Good day, everybody. How's it going out there this week? Well, this week, one of the biggest things of news came about in the form of an auction. A new record has been set. It's not really a bar, but it's a record. For the Dealer's Den. The Dealer's Den is a website that does auctions for furry content. It's sort of like a furry eBay, as it were. It's been around for a long while, for like over a decade now at least. It's not very often very used as much as other sort of ways and means of things, and they're trying to improve their things. And items like this certainly help them, and they certainly are happy whenever they set a record there, because it brings attention to their site and stuff like that. So what is this record? Well, Made For You, a group of furry fursuit designers and sellers, offered a commission up for bid. And one particularly enthusiastic fursuit collector who already has two Mischief Makers, which is another furry designer and fursuit maker groups. He's already got two of those guys' things to his name. So, how much did they spend on said fursuit? On the bid? $13,500. Congratulations! That's a hefty bid. So, not the most expensive fursuit ever, for sure. We've seen fursuits that certainly would take a lot of money to produce or create, like animatronics and all these other things. Really fancy stuff. So if you were to take like how much it would take to make a fursuit, $13,500 is probably not the largest one. However, figures of how much a fursuit costs are usually not publicly available. It's like, how much did this one cost? Do you know? It's like, you can make a rough guess or estimate, but you're not going to be, like, unless I publicly say, I spent X dollars on this fursuit, it's not going to be public knowledge. So, auctions offer this weird sort of public, sort of view as to, how much a person is willing to put down for fursuits. But this is kind of what I call an exceptional case, because Made For You is a extremely popular fursuit designer group that people really vie for commissions, and they have, because they're a small business, and small businesses who have high demand have long wait times, and as far as like getting commissions and things like that. So if somebody who's a collector wants an opportunity to swing in, they're going to drop some big bucks down. Bucks. So that's what occurred in this case. There's been a lot of, like, as a result of this, there's been a lot of fears, like, well, now fursuit makers will just up their pricing and things like that. It's really hard to distinguish that would be the case. In essence, it sort of makes sort of tiers of fursuit designing, groups, like those who are well established and well received. Could start upping their prices a little, maybe. But those that are on the ground, because there's a lot of furries who want to design fursuits who are on the ground, who are independent people. So it's just the person who designed this fursuit was not a big name at all. In fact, they're hardly a name at all in the fandom at all, so a lot of people don't even know who they are. And so, like, you can sort of, there's workarounds, there's ways that you can find fursuit makers who are willing to do things for people who are more what I call down to earth, or maybe like not so crazy as to go, hey, I want to throw a bunch of money around and things like that. It's more difficult, but it's more social networking kind of things. I don't think that the price of fursuiting or fursuits themselves will go up too much, even though it is a hefty price tag. I will say this: it is a luxury item, and it's why not a high percentage of furries engage in it, because it does cost a bit of money, and heck, there's a lot of drawbacks to it. perception and things like that. There's not a lot of activities that you could do at a fursuit that you could just do without one. Dancing becomes a little more difficult, things like that. So, but I kind of went over all that in my pilot episode of Furry Sans Fursuit. I think that's another reason why this kind of announcement sort of makes furries a little agitated, is because, now it's about the fursuits again. I don't want it to be about the fursuits. It isn't. It's just that this week just happened to be a news story revolving around a record of that. Funnily enough, when I first read about this and when I first heard about this, my thought in the back of my head was like this funny little bit where it's like, well, congratulations, sir! You won the auction. You won the auction for your made for you fursuit. I don't know how the person sounds. I'm just coming up with a voice. What would you like? What would you like for me to make for you today? Well, I was thinking, could I get a fox? A fox? Yeah. Oh, a special fox with wings and it looked like an angel? No, just a fox. Just a fox. Yes, just a fox. Orange and white and ears. So just a generic fox? Yes, just a generic fox. Yeah. Make it sort of look like Nick Wilde or something. I don't know. Sir, you just bid $13,500 for a fursuit. You're going to give me a generic fox. I actually didn't think I'd make it this far. Quite honestly, I didn't think it out too much. Sir, do you at least have a reference that I can use? Oh, yeah, sure, Here, I got one. Here, you can have this. Sir, this is just the cover art for Zootopia. As I said, I didn't think I'd get this far, So, you get what I'm saying. It's like, oh, man, I wonder what they're going to do with their $13,000 fursuit. Luckily, the person who won didn't go that silly. This is the character they're going to get designed. It's pretty intricate. It's got horns. It's got a lot of floof in there. There's a lot of details and stuff like that. I'd say if they were going for this, if they were to show this reference sheet to a private fursuit creator and start making offers and stuff like that, I'd say they get around I'd say it'd be around 8,000 by itself. It's got intricate horns. It's got like a main thing I think going there. There's a lot of floof there. There's a lot of intricacies here in the design. So I think they made a good choice for designing a character here, because this one would have been expensive to design regardless if they're probably going for a full Monty, a full suit. So, but hey, made for you. If you're feeling guilty about it, maybe you could design their clothes too. Because it's really hard. By the way, on a full suit, it's really hard to get clothing that fits it. Because this is a partial, so this is my bod, and ruin the magic. But this is on my actual body. If I had a full fursuit, I'd have to get a larger jacket, a larger shirt, and it would be a pain in the butt to take on and take off. So use this as an opportunity to experiment and make designing furry clothing. See if you could challenge yourself to make at least one of these three outfits down here. Because hey, they gave you a lot of money. It's time to experiment, baby. See if you could expand. You know what I mean? See if you could expand from just making a fursuit to making clothing that easily goes on and off full body fursuits. Because that would be something cool. That would be new sort of ground to sort of cover. And this reference sheet kind of gives you the opportunity to do that. Because hey, this is the reference sheet they gave you. And hey, they didn't say not to make these. And they paid you $13,000. I mean, just experiment a little bit. Actually, don't go for actual pearls, okay? There's pearls on one of them that don't. Then you're just eating your losses. But it's kind of a cool thing I think that you can do to expand and kind of add a little nice touch to it, since they brought a lot of attention to your brand through this news, and B, that were paying quite a hefty sum and stuff like that. So if that's, just take it with a grain of salt. If you decided just to make the fursuit, just make the fursuit. But I think it'd be a cool opportunity to sort of add something nice and interesting to it, since they went sort of above and beyond to bid for you. So at the end of the day, though, like let's not pull punches. This resulting bid was pretty controversial. Particularly, a lot of furries were like, "Well, $13,500. You could buy a starter car for that. You could buy a nice little car or put a nice hefty down payment for a mortgage or something like that. You could do something practical with it. Why are they spending it on a freaking fursuit, especially when they already have two?" And my response to that is, finances are very personal things. Certain people, there is needs and there is wants. Once an individual becomes comfortable in the needs department, then they could feel free to expend on their wants. You don't know another person's financial situation, and it might not be equal to your financial situation. You might be projecting your own financial situation onto another person. And, that happens. But here's the other issue here. So, like, the person who bid for this could very much already have a mode of transportation that they're comfortable with. They could already have a house or, a place to live that they're comfortable with. So they want to expend on different things. And, maybe the $13,500 that goes to Made for You, they attend a convention and then they go to your kiosk in the dealer's den and they go, "Hey, that's a nice little button you got there. Or that's a nice little piece of artwork you got there. I'm going to drop $20 on that piece of artwork," or something like that. As Pepper Coyote once said, the money that goes to this could go back right into the fandom. It's going toward the fandom creator. It could move around within the fandom itself. So that's something to keep in mind. It's not like it's going to some mystery like Electronic Arts or something. And speaking of gaming, the funniest thing about this whole thing, and people going, "Well, the furry fandom just expends on a bunch of garbage that doesn't have any use to it." Something happened this week as well. We're gonna go over this right now. So, I don't know if any of you are familiar with what CS:GO is. CS:GO is a video game developed by Valve, and it's a team shooter-based game. Like it's not like Overwatch. It's more sort of down to earth than Overwatch. It's more like you're actual human beings with actual different guns, and there's no classes. It's just that as long as you're communicating with your team, you could have specialize in certain tactics, but it's basically like counter-terrorists versus terrorists, and those evil guys are trying to plant like a explosive device, and you have to stop them from doing it. And if the explosive device goes off, then the terrorist group wins. If not, the other group wins. So it's sort of like a different sort of area control sort of type game. So that's the thing. So here is where this gets interesting. So this is become a competitive esport, and recently there was a competitive esport like in the last week or so in Boston, and it was a world sort of tournament style CS:GO competition, and the American team of Cloud9 won. And in that group called Cloud9, a player by the name of Skadoodle, which is kind of a weird name, and that's a furry saying this, guys. So Skadoodle was considered the MVP. Now, what in the heck does this have to do with anything? Well, there was a skin on CS:GO. So CS:GO has these things called skins, and they're like cosmetic things that you put on your virtual guns, okay? So what happens here is that there is a skin out there which is extremely rare, because they do this whole loot crate thing, because Valve designed loot boxes with TF2. It was kind of a thing that they introduced a long time ago. So every time you get angry at EA, think about, oh, this is the raw baby child of Gabe Newell. Oh, not Gabe, you have forsaken me. You have forsaken me, Gabe. You gave us the loot boxes. Look at how these people have used the loot box. Oh, Gabe, I thought I knew you so well. But here's the thing. Let me just put the picture. Recently, a skin that was signed by Skadoodle, which is, by the way, a little older than this last week. Skadoodle signed a thing after a tournament in like 2017. He signed like the rarest skin found in the rarest skin found in the rarest boxes in the rarest form of quality. So it's like triple rare, and on top of that, a esports celebrity signed it with a little stamp saying Skadoodle. And by the way, and here, how much, and that sold this last week. How much do you think it went for? So this is from the Gymquisition. This is a screenshot from the Gymquisition episode that I saw this week, which you could find up here in this iCard. $61,052.63. Oh, what the heck is that? Wow, that's a lot of freaking money. Oh! Just to put this into perspective, that's probably about around how much I put down for my mortgage on like this place. In and around that much. The thing that I'm going to be spending 30 years paying off. Actually, probably not anymore. Thanks, work! But, my God. That's a lot of freaking money. And by the way, this isn't something physical. This isn't like a physical sniper rifle that has like the skin on it and the signature on it. Which, by the way, to put this into perspective, actual, real, high-quality sniper rifles, I don't see them. I've looked around, and thank you for ruining my Google search history now, by the way. And, well, at least the FBI is being distracted by the president right now, so they don't have time to look at my Google history. Thanks, Trump. But 15,000? 15,000 around there is what you can get for a high-quality, actual, real-life, physical sniper rifle. And so if you were to take one of those that looks sort of like this and put the skin on it in high-quality, factory-new condition, and make it sort of like, and put the guy's signature on it, now we're getting to actually something where I would say spending $61,000.52 and 63 or 52. It's such a weird number. What is with this number? At least the frickin' furry one was a nice round 13.5. This one is 61,052.63. It's like a smiley face at the end going, ha, I'm trolling you, 63 cents. Now, my curiosity is what would happen if the guy just offered, like, I'm not paying the 63 cents, I'm going to pay the $0. Well, too bad, you're not getting this cool little virtual gun. Oh, sorry. But anyways, it's like, see this? See this thing here? What is this thing? There's something called the geek hierarchy. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. But it goes like it's like basically it's this whole chart, and I'll post a link to it in the description below. But it literally is like it's got like this like considers themselves less nerdy than, and then it just goes down, and furries are like at the bottom. And that was a running gag in the fandom like in 2011. I think it's time to reconsider this, because furries are sort of getting a little weird about spending $13,500 on a physical thing that you could touch, that you could feel, that is fuzzy, that really exists. If you hug it, it is warm and soft, and it has actual physical things. And these things don't depreciate all that much. This thing probably is about as worth as much as I had it when I originally had it, except for it's kind of used. And if I do awesome things in it, then hey, it could be worth more eventually. It belongs in a museum. But anyways, what I'm saying is that this is a physical, real thing that has value, that you could trade and things like that. This thing is not. This thing is a virtual bit of code on a virtual game, which will probably have an extreme depreciation value. By the way, this was sold by someone who had bought this. The person who had bought this originally paid $35,000 for the skin, and they bought it after the tournament in 2017 from the Skadoodle team and whatnot, when it was basically originally conceived. They sold it this week because of that event that I told you about, the Boston victory of that team. The person who bought the skin originally probably saw an opportunity to sell it because Skadoodle was the MVP at a world tournament. So he's like, now if I'm going to sell this, now's the time to do it. And he basically doubled his money-ish, like almost doubled his money selling it. The problem with it is that's not always going to keep going. This right now is worth about 7 Bitcoins for you virtual people. That's crazy. Actually, it's about 8, worth 8. Oh, it's worth 8 now. 9, 9.5, 10. Well, you get what I mean. It's worth a lot of Bitcoins, and it's going to be worth more Bitcoins as Bitcoins become more worthless in every given second here. But you know what I mean. So just fiscally, I think that furries are a little more reasonable than gamers right now, is what I'm trying to say. And that's kind of a sad thing to say, because we're nerdy and we're nuts and we're a little eccentric. Everyone knows that. We are super freaking nerdy. Sure, you want to put us at the bottom of the freaking nerd hierarchy, fine. But I think our money is putting your money where your mouth is, and spending $61,000 on a virtual item which will depreciate like crazy as soon as CSGO goes the way of the dodo, which it probably will if Gabe Newell learns to count to 3 and creates the new CSGO or whatever, or CS Stop, or CS CS Special Task Operative Police or something. So CSGO Stop. Yes, that'll be the next CS game, Counter-Strike game. And then, CSGO will lose its player base, and people don't care about the skins on it anymore, and eventually the values of these things depreciate. I put it like this. There's probably a lot of people who invested in Team Fortress 2 loot boxes, which, by the way, is where the first time I originally remember loot boxes coming from. Once again, thank you, Gabe Newell. I'm sure there's a lot of people who played TF2 who bought earbuds. And remember earbuds? Oh, you remember earbuds. Earbuds were the thing. Like Apple and things did the thing, and they put little earbuds in their ears. And it was like the coolest thing, and everyone wanted earbuds. There's even a YouTube video. I'll see if I can find it. If I do, I'll put it in the card right here. Where like this one guy goes around trolling this trade server looking for earbuds. I want my earbuds. Give me my earbuds. Can I have some earbuds? Like, no, you can't have earbuds. It's like my earbuds. I want your earbuds. It's funny as heck. But anyways, I'm sure there's a lot of people who invested in earbuds back then who are looking back at it and going, well, that was a dumb idea. No one plays TF2 anymore. Everyone's playing Overwatch. And this is why, most games don't feel comfortable allowing for player trading like this going on. But Valve is very laissez-faire. They're like, if they want to do it, they're going to do it. They want to green light some stupid game that's garbage and flood our market with garbage. Low bit to me, laissez-faire. You go for it. If you gamers want them, you'll buy them, I guess. But that's neither here nor there. I'm getting into gaming politics. But anyways, yes. In conclusion, with my ranting done about that, if we're looking at ourselves going, we're spending too much money on our hobby, Trust me, there are other hobbies out there where people are expending exuberant amount of money on stuff that's not even, that most people wouldn't even find valuable. I mean, sure, and this is where markets get a little weird. When you throw people and communities into the mix, value gets weird, right? Like, a baseball card is a baseball card, but if it has, and any idiot knows if it says Babe Ruth on that baseball card, that baseball card is pretty freaking valuable. Or Jackie Robinson or something or other like that. But if you have one of those weird sort of like names that are very popular, but you don't know they're popular because you don't watch the sport, you might not know it's valuable. Such as like the CSGO gun. It's like many people don't even know who Skadoodle is, so they'll be like, why is that worth $61,000? That's just weird. They don't know CSGO, they don't know loot box, they don't know that community. Same thing with furries. If you don't know furries and fursuits and all that stuff, and who makes them and who designs them, it might get a little weird when you see $13,500 for an animal costume. It might get a little strange to you, but when you throw people and communities into the mix, you might, what seems unreasonable to an outsider might seem more than reasonable to an insider. This is where economies get very weird. And to me, it sort of shows that communities, still base their value upon the people within it. Skadoodle is a talented CSGO player, so anything that has his name on it's worth a little more money. A little more money, but $61,000? Anyways, like, I watched those clips at that tournament. I didn't see his name on the kill feed too much, but maybe it was the clips I was watching. I don't know. I've seen like YouTube clips of him playing, and he's pretty good. Except for like Valve's game of Counter-Strike has like such latency issues. It's like he's not even hitting him, and he's getting headshots. He's like aimed at the second zip code to morning and then firing his gun and then killing that guy with a headshot. And it's like, that didn't even look like he hit him. Jeez, Valve, your game is so broken, freaking the best players in the world have to calculate hitboxes and fire at the hitbox, and it doesn't look clean at all. What the? Oh, makes me throw up in my mouth. Thanks, Gabe Newell. Actually, he didn't probably program that game, but whatever. So what I'm saying is this, is that it's hard to judge markets based on people, but at least the markets are based on people and their contributions and what they are. It is very hard when you're not in that club or whatever, when you don't have the money to throw around for stuff like that. It can get a little irksome. But money is not everything. I produce this for on cheap. The work that I've done has been nearly for free for this fandom, and I'm more than happy with it. And so, you can find, things to do in your spare time. And if you wouldn't spend $13,500 on a fursuit, don't spend $13,500 on a fursuit. I wouldn't spend $13,500 on a fursuit. I'm a pragmatist. I've got one. I'm good. That's the purpose for my fursuit. I'm not a collector. But if someone is a collector, and eventually it's like, well, I want the Tantru suit, and they would spend more money on it than I spent on it, and I'd be like, you cray. You go cray. All right? Like, you can imagine Telephone's fursuit going up for auction as soon as she retires from the fandom. How much money people would be willing to drop on that. Things like that. And fursuits are very personal to things, so when you have people imitate them, they get a little angry about it. Like, there was this guy who did the Lemonade Coyote imitation. I think it's the same guy who's been causing controversies. But this is kind of getting into other topics. But in the long or the short, people are going to spend money on what they're going to spend it on, and your financial situation, your personal finances, are the same regardless if they did that or not. And you just got to let it go. You know what I mean? You just got to let it go. Anyways, I'm going to get the hop out of here. Enough for this rule rambling. I'm going to get the hop out of here. Kick that like, kick the subscribe button, kick a comment in the comment section. How much money would you drop for if Telephone's fursuit went up for auction? How much money would you drop on it? I guess is the question for this week.